My name is Sean Reese. I'm 35 years old. I ended up committing attempted murder. And when I came here and I got this job and I started showering people and helping people change diapers, and I was like, man, these people are really sick, man, and like it just opened up my heart. My mom was in prison, my dad went to prison. I can say that I was a really, really angry person. I didn't care that you were another human being. That didn't matter. A guy named Nick. I used to go in his room and talk to him before he went to the hospital. And when he came back, it was amazing, like what the chemo and the cancer had did to his body. And he stuck his hand out. He couldn't talk. He passed away a couple of days later. And for a second, like I didn't want to do this no more because I didn't want to see that.
Well, we had a patient, his cancer was just a horrible kind of cancer. And he was a white supremacist, swastikas and other kinds of tattoos all over his body, arms, legs, everywhere. He became really good friends with Sean, a black Muslim, and Sean took really good care of him to the point where he wanted Sean there with him. He trusted him. So here's a white supremacist and all those walls are just falling down. Then when he died, it really affected Sean emotionally. So hospice in that sense becomes a place of healing within their spirit, within their families, and within the community, rather than just a place of death.
I received a sentence of 54 years to life in prison under California 3 strikes. My illness is terminal lung cancer. I applied for a compassionate release. They said that I still pose a threat to society.
There have been quite a few men that I have been in favor of a compassionate release, but they weren't able to get out. Many of the men are just totally incapable of doing any other crime when they get out because of the state of their physical condition when they're here. No one of the decision makers actually came down and looked at them. They just looked at what was on paper, but it would have been nice if they would have just looked at them and talked to them.
I have 3 grandchildren I've never seen. I have a son I've never seen before. And I'd like to have the chance to see them before I pass away.
Watching all these people die and then they put them in a bag and then they wheel them off. I'm like, come on, man, there has to be something that's greater than this. This job, if you allow it to, if you don't block yourself off, if you don't close yourself off, then it'll help you. It'll really help you to deal with a lot of the issues that you might have. I figure God put me here for whatever reason He put me here, so I'm going to figure out what that is.
Why should we be returning good for evil? They have done real horrible things to society, so we should do horrible things to them? No. These are human beings that are broken, that need repair, that need healing. That is just the right thing to do. And so in the hospice, we give them that healing, and I believe that heals society as a result.